Welcome back to Cat's Coloring. If you're new, welcome. This is the start of a second series. I have two series is going to be going simultaneously. One where I'm creating a sketchbook from A to Z, and then the other one is going to be going through this draw your own adventure and activity book with prompts and challenges to jumpstart your creativity by Chloe Rose, uh, creator of Chloe Rose Art. She is a YouTuber and a small business owner, and I wanted to um, support her by picking up her book. I picked her book up on Amazon. Um, I kind of flipped through it. I didn't want to. I wanted it to be kind of a surprise for myself as well as my viewers. One thing I kind of liked, unlike other kind of books, is that I know it's gonna be it'd probably be hard to see, but the spine actually kind of opens up, so you don't have to worry about busting your spine while you're working in the book. I thought that was a cool little uh extra. And then and this is the back of the book. Boredom and art block begone. Fall down the rabbit hole of creativity and get lost in this colorful world. Part drawing activities, part coloring book, this whimsical adventure is packed with dreamlike art and endless inspiration. As you draw through this book, you'll try to escape the mysterious lost sketches realm by designing rain boots for ducks, aging a treasure map with tea or coffee, creating your own weird veggie hybrid, bro carrot, anyone, and more, with prompts that encourage you to use all the artistic tools at your disposal. These interactive pages make you think outside the box and color outside the lines for hours of artistic fun. Chloe Rose is the artist and creator behind the YouTube and social media sensation Chloe Rose Art, where she shares her creative journey and art supplies reviews. So I've been going back. If you're new, uh, my thing is I don't edit my videos, so I will start a prompt. I mean, I have the time because I'm trying to keep my videos between a half an hour and an hour long. This one might be a little bit longer because it's the starting the book. And future ones I might get started and then I'll have to cut off. But I will, on the next video, I will show the finished page. Um, but I haven't decided because I'm doing this week by week, where one week I'll have the A through Z prominent, and the next week I'll have this book prominent. So part of me is thinking about doing 2 or 3 prompts uh, throughout the week. I haven't decided yet. I just figure doing one prompt for its week is not enough. So without further ado, lovely yellow page. Draw your own adventure. And then all the details. And then the cover page. Okay. Introduction. For thousands of years, artists have abandoned their sketchbooks, their sketches. Incomplete artwork and doodles are left to collect dust, creative potential with nowhere to go. These incomplete drawings get sent to the lost sketches realm, and if you aren't careful, you may find yourself drawn to its doorways. These doorways are sometimes disguised as a simple sketchbook, and the only way to escape is to complete it. You have been warned. Okay. You find a small bookstore in a quaint town. The book spines appear blank, so you draw the spines to look like some of your favorite books in the middle of the stacks. You notice a red book, drawn to it, you pick it up. So the prompt is you can write your favorite book titles in there. You can just, color the whole thing. But when it to for the story part has the lovely red book named Sketchbook. I figure I'm going to start coloring. Um, the only downside to this book, which I understand why she did it this way. That way because realistically the book is pretty thick. And the paper is a decent quality, but I feel like if I use my alcohol markers, it would see it's double sided. I would be afraid that it would bleed through, so I'm on this page at least I'm going to stick to my color pencils. Maybe down the road I might try my hand at my water. I'm also afraid to use my water markers because for some reason I'm either too heavy handed or something to where it ends up um, tearing up the page. I think I'm going to start with the bookcase. My my favorite book when I was younger, I was very picky. I liked I wasn't much I liked R.L. Stine type of books. Um wasn't much of a Goosebump fan. I don't know if it was just because it was meant too much for kids or they were so short that I couldn't really, get into them. But I like the teen books. Couldn't tell you for the life of me which ones anymore because I am not a teenager. But now as an adult, I'm uh, more into the romance realm, uh, with some adventure suspense thrown in. I did end up. I found the Harry Potter series on the third after the third book. The fourth book was due to release in a couple of months, but I only had the first three. I felt kind of like a wimp because um my dad I think if my dad really wanted to, he could have been a narrator because he has one of those kind of voices and he's able to give characters voices. I always loved listening to him read, but he what was going on? We were in the second half of the second book, and he was going out on a date with a female, and I really wanted to finish the book because it was like at a very it was kind of at the semi climactic part of the book, and it was already kind of dark out, and my dad had a place at the time that was open concepts and lights for every room, and by the time my dad got home from his date, I had turned on every light in the rooms, sorry, because the book was that entranced. I was like that sucked into the book, and I was afraid that the enemies from the book would just pop out and be in the shadows. So my dad started laughing when he got home, and I'm sitting there curled up with the book with every light on in the house. When normally I'd be okay just having one light on next to me as I'm reading or uh, doing something in the living room. Now, for my personal opinion, I wasn't a. I know this is a controversial one, but I was never. Number three was my favorite, hands down. Number four, to me, I understood the purpose of number four, even back when it was released. But I reread it maybe one time, and then when the library first um, got the audiobooks of all the Harry Potter books, I re-listened to it then, but not since. Well, realistically, I haven't listened to any of them since they first came to the library. But I have no um, interest. And then I did get into the Twilight after the. I waited for the first movie to come out to DVD, and I rented it. And then because I was like, it seems interesting, but I wasn't sold on going to the movie theater to watch it. And then when I saw that it was from a book series, I was torn because I didn't want to be disappointed. So I ended up by this point the all four books were out, and they Amazon had all four books in a package deal box set. So I just ended up picking up all four books, and then I started the series on the second book, and then I read through to the fourth book, and then I finally broke down and read the first book because I'd already by this point I'd already been burned with the Harry Potter series, so I figured I would go ahead and read all the rest of them. That way, it wasn't as much of a shock when if there was any real differences with the first book. And then when Hunger Games came out, around the same time, I did read the first book after the first movie, and then I did start. I got about. I made it. I want to say half, but I'm not 100% sure because it's been a long time since. But once a certain part happened, I was like, no. I mean, I knew that nothing happened to the main character because there's a third book, but it was still the principle of the fact that the main character was being screwed over, and I just was like, nope, nothing against the author. Love. I ended up saying nope to the second one. I was like, I don't care what happens. I know she survives. That's all that matters to me. So I ended up picking up the third book, and I read snippets. I'm one of those really bad people that if I want to know, I get impatient and I want to know what happens. So I tried reading from the start, and yeah, my impatience won out, and I just flipped to the end, and then I had to sit there and actually read like the last three chapters to understand everything that happened at the end of the book. But I've never really been a big this war dystopian person, so that's the other reason why I kind of didn't read the rest of the second one, nor the really read the third one because. And so like with the Divergent, I come to find out after finding out there wasn't going to be a fourth movie, that it was kind of like, to my understanding, I could be completely wrong with Divergent, that there's supposed to be another movie or there another part, like supposedly how the movie ended wasn't how the book ended. But since it wasn't, I liked it as a movie, but I knew I wasn't going to like it um, as a read. So I never picked up the books to read them or to listen to them. Now for Maze Runner, my husband picked up the books for Maze Runner, and he was like, he didn't finish the books until after the last movie came out. And I think that was actually, I think that's what made him read all the books, or at least read the last book, because of the way the movie ended. He almost was like certain there had to be more to it. And he gets to the end of the last book, and if you watch the movie, that's how the book ends. And if you and he was not happy. I really couldn't blame him because there was a movie that came out in the 90s. It had to be the 90s because it was either the 90s or early 2000s, one of the two. Um called The Haunting, I believe. It was where I didn't realize it was originally a book. I thought it was just a sci-fi kind of movie, ghosts, but it was this doctor had heard about like ghosts at this haunted mansion, and he hired people to stay at the mansion. I think could have been a week, could have been a month. I don't remember the time frame. It's been so long since I've seen it. But years later, when I got into audiobooks, I found the book that inspired the movie. And I'm like, I wasn't thrilled with how the movie ended. I was like, there has to be something else. It was just one of those, but it was also during the time where a lot of movies just had this tendency to just end, or had an ending that just didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm going to the book. Book was really good. No real complaints to it. And so it gets near the end, and I'm like, okay, here I go. I'll find out what the real ending is to this whole thing, and maybe I'll learn something extra. Nope, 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 nope. It was definitely one of those where the book just abruptly ended, and I'm just like, okay. Because I thought at least with the book you at least get. I mean, it was still a. I guess it was. I mean, it was a first person POV, but part of me thought that maybe something else had happened, or you at least found out like what happened to some of the other characters. That's I think survived. I can't remember, but no, it just ends. No real. Okay, we're not like I expect every author to put in there like, oh, 20 years down the road, this happens, blah blah blah. But it's like I at least like to know what happens, especially like something that's kind of like a suspense thriller kind of book. At least like to know what happened, the next day. And yeah, that didn't happen. I'm like, okay, good book, don't hate it, just hated the ending. Um, I have had books where I've reread the Twilight books, especially with the audio. I've reread them so many times that I kind of know them verbatim, so I can't sit there and read them anymore because I feel like it's just. I mean, if you ever like watch a TV show or a movie so much that you can you won't even be paying attention to it, and you just hear like one like bit of music or like one line before it, and you're just like, and I could perform it with. That's how it was with Twilight with the books. I just listened to them so much that I mean I couldn't sit here and read the book verbatim, but if I were to be listening to it, I'd be like, okay, this is the next line. This is the next line. That's why I'm always so impressed when there's people that there's a YouTube channel I watch called React, and they have these challenges where they have to figure out um, movies or songs from the lyrics, and I'm sitting there like completely flummoxed, and it'd be a song that I know, and I'm sitting here like looking at these lyrics, and I'm sitting here like, what? Like those lyrics are in that song? But okay. Uh, excuse. Sorry, I had to take a quick drink. All this yammering I'm doing. If you made it this far, I guess you can leave me a comment on what books you like, if there's any you like. Um, or at least like genre. I do have to say a narrator sometimes, like especially with audiobooks, a narrator makes a huge difference for a book series. Because there's a book series I've read that I absolutely love. It's called the um Thirds book series. Love the book series. I've read all the books. So I was trying to think if I skipped one of them, but no, I read all the books. Well, in the initial third series, I she did a spin-off with the main characters, but I have not picked those up because I was getting into other series, and with it being a spin-off, I kind of wanted to. In my head, I was keeping the purity of the original series. But then when I started getting into Audible, and I ended up picking up the first book, and I don't know if anybody else has this problem, but and it's the same way with me with watching YouTubers. Their voice just hits my ear a certain way where they're not a bad person. I guess overall their voice isn't bad. It's just the way it hits my eardrum makes me cringe. And so I was gonna get the whole entire book series on audio so I could re-listen to them and enjoy them, but because of the narrator that was used for the series, I was unable to do that. And like I said, I'm sure the narrator is wonderful for other people, but for me, it just hit my eardrum wrong. And there's uh, YouTubers I've watched where kind of the same thing. It's nothing with their mics, nothing wrong with them. Just I guess it's their accent or their cadence. It just hits my eardrum a certain way, and it's just like. So there's times where I've pushed through it so I can watch their content because I want to support them because I enjoy what they put out. It's just I sometimes have to throw the captions on and turn the volume like really low because they're um some one or two of them's on like they're artists, and so it's like I'm more watching for what they put out uh with their art. than what's actually being said. And then there's times where I know that they're talking a lot, so I'll turn up the volume and actually listen. Yeah, there's certain YouTubers that my husband's in love, like watches their content religiously, and I have to leave the room because they're whatever octave their voice is at or whatnot, it just hits wrong. And I don't hate the YouTuber, the content creators, or the people that are putting out the info for whoever's creating the content. It's just something that just hits my eardrum a certain way, and I'm just like, ow, 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 ow. So he lets me know when he's gonna watch them. And I mean, it's not all the time that I have to like walk out of the room, but if he kind of like does a binge watch because it's been a while since he's caught up on their videos, I have to put on headphones or go to another room and do something else while he's watching their content. Spending all this time on the bookcase, but I'm also love a good bookcase. I almost feel like that, but I'm like an old fashioned. Like I never wanted the when I was a kid. Not Cinderella. Sorry, Beauty and the Beast came out, and I was in love with Beauty and the Beast. And even though I wasn't much into reading, I loved the aesthetic, the look of the library that Beast gifts Belle. And yeah, but I'm fine without all the the rolly ladders or anything like that. But I always love that aesthetic of the bookcases. Yeah, I have bookcases. They're just not um, fancy like that, and they have collectible figurines instead of books on them. I get this is supposed to be. I guess my one little complaint is I know this is supposed to be a bookcase of sketchbooks or books with sketchbooks mixed in, but I don't even know what um I don't even know what my comment is anymore. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to. I might go ahead because I know I'm gonna get interrupt here in a little while, so I'm probably gonna make this first page into two videos because I was gonna make this a longer video. So I'm at least going to try to color this. Color in this first bookcase and then figure out book titles. But I guess, like down here, we have a couple of books the same size that would be perfect. Because I was going to make some of the books I just talked about, I was going to make them into, like, the books. But all these books are different sizes, different widths. So if you have a series of books like the Harry Potter series, it's a little hard to justify saying that they're the Harry Potter series when some are tiny, some are tall. um, and I think that's my cue to wrap up this video for now. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. If you want to keep track of the series, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have a good evening, and bye.